Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Shot Tank time. We've got no John Boy beats today, so no spreadsheet bullshit. Jeb is here. TST's here. Listen, we're gonna start farming right away before I even get into anybody. If you're watching right now and you're like, hey, I can't comment, that's because you haven't subscribed yet. So like the stream, subscribe. Also put hashtag tank into the chat, and we'll give something away here towards the end. So like the stream. Hashtag tank. As we start getting into shit, let's just congratulate Dapper once again on a Wednesday, giving us something to talk about without fail. Every week we get pissed, or not even pissed. We have some stuff to talk about. But we got Jeb here. We got TST. Jeb, what's going on, man? How are we doing?
Doing all right. Work is kind of crazy, so haven't been grinding Top Shotter all day super hard lately, but I don't think I've missed out on too much lately, which is good.
There you go. Awesome. Love that high energy. Jeb coming in hot with that high energy, taking a page out of TST's book last week. Who TST? How are we fresh off a pub visit? How are we doing today?
Not fresh off a pub visit. I've been under the weather the past couple days.
Wow.
I had a wedding on the weekend, so I'm in that
Cove.
But what I don't know. I don't want to know.
You don't want to speculate. Good. I like that. That's
no speculation here. No speculation. No, but I think I'm at that weird spot where I'm not too old for my old drinking ways, but I'm way too old for my hangovers. Yeah. So I'm still not recovered from that weekend, and my body was just like, hey, what have you been doing? And just been a rough couple days, just trying to get through. But you know what? I've been watching some preseason basketball, and it's getting me pretty excited. Red Zone got me through Sunday when I was feeling real rough.
There we go.
So I'm ready for the sports world to pick up here a little bit.
Yeah, well, under 2 weeks, man. Under 2 weeks, and Top Shot is bustling with excitement and good news. But I think what we can start with today, we'll talk a little NFL all day and mess around with the playbook a little bit and just kind of fire some things around. But this afternoon they announced the dynamic duos, and I think there's 2 parts of this that we should talk about. And I think let's start before we get into the mechanics of what everybody's tweeting about. I think we start just with the moments that were selected themselves. And here, I'll share a screen here and blow this up a little bit so we can kind of take a peek at some of these. And then I don't know, we can kind of go around the horn. Who are we, what were we excited about? What were our initial thoughts when, or I guess when they tweeted? Also, look at turning 35 today. Happy birthday!
I was gonna say happy birthday.
Happy B-Day.
Happy birthday to the consig. But yeah, when this came out, when you saw this, what were some first reactions?
I was very happy with the choices. I kind of thought that most of them were going to be what they chose. So, I mean, once again, shout out to Austin. I mean, the guy doesn't miss. Yeah. Absolutely crushing once again. I thought most of the choices were super, super sick. And I mean, some of the ones that maybe weren't as great, they only had so many options they could choose from. I know the Kings is Fox and Sabonis, but I mean, that's probably their best dynamic duo in the last 10 years.
Kings suck.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
Is that the real reason John didn't show up tonight?
Yeah, probably.
Because he knew that we were just going to question him on that and be like, pick 2 better ones than that. And he just wasn't going to be able to. Can
I ask you this? Do you think Harrison Barnes is bullshit right now? He's I'm one of 2 NBA players pumping your product. I've been on the Kings for the last 5 years. Fucking Sabonis has been here for 3 weeks.
I've been making videos with Ross the past couple days.
Yeah. And and Sabonis gets there. So yeah, I want listen, I'm trying to create some riffs between Harry Barnes and Top Shot. But yeah, so I'm seeing some stuff in the chat. What were some of the ones that stood out that you were pumped about? TSCF, why don't we start with you? What any that stood out and you're like, hell yeah, they crushed it.
There's some low-hanging fruit, Durant Westbrook, but it was just it would have been more of a thing where it's okay, if they didn't choose that. Ones that I'm personally kind of pumped about, Nash Stoudemire.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That one's on my list too.
That era was just super exciting. Garnett Pierce for me too, because I just I just love cheering against the Lakers for those years, and so like I've always been a Pierce fan since back in the day with Antoine Walker. So
yeah,
that one for me a little bit. I'm sure Chicago fans be pretty pumped for like Noah and Rose.
That one stuck
and
out
bringing
to me.
them
yeah.
back.
That's a good one.
It's like less so for me, but I can understand why like people would be super pumped about that. So those ones, like obviously, and I'm sure people are kind of like, why Bosch and not Wade?
I like that though. I
mean,
that. We have over 200,000 Wades on the platform. Let's get some Bosch in here, you know.
I mean, Bosch's vintage vibe is pretty up there too.
Yeah.
I guess as we will pivot to some of the ones that stood out there, you're like, really, this is the direction we went to. Perfect Cereal. We're not going to name names of how we get that information, but we did learn that like there's certain players that weren't under contract anymore, which I thought was interesting because some of them are still playing. So I expected that more with some of the guys no longer in the league, but like the Boogie, the Mellows, and the Dwights, I found to be a little bit more surprising. Also, John, good. Can you do your job, dude? Do your job, man. But yeah, so I that like, you know, when you look at the Orlando Magic that had who did the Magic have again? Is it
Wagner and Anthony?
Yeah, like that's I mean, just dog food. Like
you were so anti Cole Anthony. It's hilarious.
Guys, he is the you know what?
I love Cole Anthony.
Yeah, this is the thing.
This dynamic duo has barely played 2 years in the league.
No, I don't think it's a dynamic duo, but I do think it's just Mike once again getting to dunk on Cole again.
No, I wouldn't be so anti Cole Anthony, except you idiots all think he like have just been championing him, and I'm like, what? No, he's not. He's like the fifth guard on that team now.
No, he's the number one guard. Number one guard on that team.
No, give me Fultz. Give me fucking. Is Gary Harris still there?
I
take
get
Gary
Fultz
Harris
3
too.
weeks. 3 weeks before he's out for the season.
I think he's already hurt, honestly. The Lowry DeRozan one I think was fun. I think like the diehard Raptors, you know, I know shout out Top Shot. They were struggling with spelling Leonard, which I thought was so funny because when the initial tweet came out, they spelled Kawhi fine, which is something that I've spelled incorrectly for years. And Leonard's the one that got him. But I think like, and TST, you can answer this as a Raptors fan, right? Like you wouldn't like, I mean, Kawhi got you a chip, sure, but you want the Lowry DeRozan connection, right?
Yeah, like the Kawhi thing just doesn't fit what this is. Like or how they had presented it originally. It was like supposed to be like, you know, more like long term or players that had a connection or something like that. Like those two guys are like best friends. They carried the Raptors for many, many years. Right. You know, DeRozan tweeting out, "I got you," and signing with us is the reason we were able to get Kawhi after we shipped him off. So like that also to me was just like of all these ones, I knew it was going to be that. Like that was probably like one that they could just be like, "Yep, we know what that is. Move on." Like we don't even have to really think too much about it.
I think similarly to that one too, the Memphis Grizzlies of the grit and grind of Randolph and Conley. Like that's another no brainer. KD and Russ, I know they're like more superstars, but that's the same thing. Like you mentioned.
Yeah, that one's sick. That makes me happy.
Yeah, Wall and Beal. The Giannis Middleton, I don't really love, especially, but whatever. Only because.
It's just weird because like that Giannis, like it looks like it's his rookie, like Giannis.
Yeah.
And like it's like I don't know, the Giannis Middleton, it's like they're still doing it kind of like I don't know why that one felt so weird to me as well.
Yeah. Perm Toad, so you know what I'm gonna say, man? Because I think Blake fell into the same category of Dwight.
So too. That's what I was gonna say.
And listen, there are plenty of things that I rally the troops on when dunking on Top Shot. I don't think this is one of. I think any of these scenarios we run into where you're like, oh, this one feels like a miss. My bet is that there's extenuating circumstances there. Like Blake and CP3 would have been the obvious choice. Right. Because you don't get Duncan and Ginobili. You don't get that right. You don't get Murray and Jokic right. Clay, like the Splash Brothers. You don't get all of those right. And then all of a sudden you're like, what if we did Franz Wagner and Cole Anthony? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it would have been Dwight and Jameer or something like that. Or Dwight and JJ. Would have been
that would have been sick.
So do you find that now this is basically like from 09 to 23 or 22, right?
I think that's dumb. Yeah.
Correct.
So like that's kind of weird. Is that like, do you think because they had these situations where they had to pluck from these like recent teams?
Yeah.
Because like that just seems strange to me. And like just like things like the Sabonis Fox, like they played like what 15 games together or something. Like,
but that one, I mean, I guess like because if you go back to I truly couldn't tell you anybody that was good on the Kings from 09 to now. Like if you went 04, 03, whatever, I'm back in. But DJ Augustine for the Magic. All right, no, that's gross.
no, couldn't even name a second person.
Yeah, he was just like
give me DJ twice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and then I thought even the 76ers one where with Harden and Embiid was it's cool, but
age well. But
it could age super well. But it's
again,
not
half a season.
Yeah, it's like he just joined the team. So I think
Harden and Simmons, dude. They should have done Harden and Simmons for the culture. That would have been great. I mean, that's truly when I think of that era of the 76ers, it's going to be those two. Jimmer Fredette.
You mean Embiid and Simmons?
Oh, what did I say? Harden and Simmons?
Harden and Simmons.
My bad. Yeah. Sorry. I meant Embiid and Simmons. My bad.
Okay.
I like that we're just naming psychos that I've played in DFS. Omri Caspi, absolutely. Omri Caspi, a big Web3 bro now, I believe. And then Kung City, this is a good transition question. No, it doesn't, because none of these get badges, correct? They get like a team badge, and that's it.
They get a team TSD badge for the team.
Right.
Yeah.
But it won't be.
If it was the team's first year, did they get a rookie badge?
Yeah.
Give it 2 or 3 years. We'll do a run it back for teams. And
like OKC, was Westbrook drafted the first year they moved to OKC?
Oh,
if they do it from his rookie year, can they give OKC the rookie badge?
Oh, I like that.
Just to get those Supersonics fans really riled up.
Yeah. All right. Should we get into also this is gonna be fun. I think the dog is gonna realize. Yep, it just took off. I could hear Kelsey was home, but the dog didn't know yet. And I was like, dog's gonna lose his shit in a second.
What's the dog doing though?
Yeah. Let's get into the stuff that people got pissed about. I liked the thing. I will say, I think people are expecting me to be very mad, and I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't think I'm going to be very mad, but I also should say I didn't earn a single one of these, so maybe that's why. But what was kind of fun about this? Chris says no one likes to dunk on my colleagues more than me, but if you ever think the curation team missed, just assume something outside. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Chris. Yeah. That's what I was saying. There's no doubt in my mind. And if somebody did screw up, my money is on Chris, mainly because he's here right now and JP's not. But if you're lurking, I also think it's your fault. But there was a lot of talk afterwards, right? Because I think one of the things that came out today that wasn't announced prior was that the top 3 in the leaderboards of each team will receive serial 1, 2, and 3 in that order. And so there were 2 reactions that happened, or multiple reactions, but the 2 major ones. Oh, JP is there. It is JP's fault. Suck on that, Hornbrook. I like to think that he wasn't listening with headphones and that just filled his house of suck on that Hornbrook. But the 2 things that came about this, right, were that we didn't know that. And if we did know that, we would have spent more money to try to, like, the whales of the community would have been like, oh, I would have went after it to try to get more or to get higher up. And the other half was like, well, maybe I wouldn't have locked that because part of, people talk about this with legendaries all the time. When they get a legendary pack, it's like, oh, this is my best chance at a 1 or a jersey, right? Because it's like 1 out of 99. So those are like the 2 main conversations I was seeing. I don't know. I'm sorry I did like a long preamble and then yelled at employees in between that. Yeah, number 4. There you go. What were your what kind of conversations were you seeing after this announcement, or more importantly, I guess, like, what were your thoughts as that was happening? We'll start with you and then go to TST.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but once again, I locked like 3 moments.
Yeah,
I was never trying to get to those leaderboards. So I think the one gripe is like it should have been announced from the jump.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you should, even if you aren't competing for the top 3 spots,
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you might be deciding to get into that top 750 because you're like, I want a 0.00000.1% chance at pulling that number one, which I think is not a good like strategy, but you know, people deserve to have like the full information for sure. And then I guess my other question would be like, once again, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's a huge mistake. I just think it could have been handled probably a little bit better. But why is it the first 3 only? Why isn't it, you know, the first 10?
Yeah, that's where I was. Well, I was going the other way. I would have said it's a leaderboard. Just do
no,
1 through 750.
I agree with that 100%. That's the way that makes sense to me. Do 1 through 750 and then announce it from the beginning. And I think everyone's happy with that. Because then, you know, you have even a little more strategy if people are going for that like area code of the city or things like that. It gets a little more fun that way. I just don't think it I don't like the whole, oh, by the way, now that you don't have a chance to change anything, this is the way it is. But I don't think it's as big of a deal as some people are like losing their minds on Twitter.
Yeah, I will say the other thing too, and then TSC, you go. But the other thing that I thought of was like if they announced it ahead of time, people would have been like, "Oh, they're just doing this so that you go out and it's just to prop the market up. They're just trying to get the whales to spend more money." And so like I think both of those things are true. That's how I would have looked at it. So I think like no matter what, I just think like if you're going to sneak attack, surprise people, I think it is tough for, I don't know. It's tough for the people that were like squeaking in for a shot. And then it's also tough for the people who like, I know like Library's out there and he's usually top shot defender #1 and he's pretty pissed off right now. And it's like tough for me to weigh in too. Cause I just, you know, I don't care. But TSC, what about you?
I mean, the big thing was kind of like, why are we doing it just for 3, not all, blah, blah, blah. People talking about, you know, they should have told us ahead of time. Other people going to the blog saying that it's going to be random and stuff. I don't think that's what the blog was referring to at all, but you could apply to this if you really wanted to be a defender of this. I think it's interesting too, to just like think about, okay, like what if we did like kind of like you're in a range and you get to like randomize within a range. So like, I don't know, top 3, top 10 get 7 to 10, you know, 10 to 99, something like that. I also am just like, if you're doing this, I would have thought that you do it all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think this had actually been asked in some sort of their spaces or something, will like your position on the leaderboard? And they said no. And I just thought of that now, kind of talking this through. So I don't know, maybe that's why they didn't want to do the whole thing, because they kind of said that wasn't going to happen.
Well, tune into Reddit tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll get a Reddit post.
Well, I mean, the real
question, an AMA on it,
an AMA.
Yeah, why didn't we just give everyone on the leaderboards the #1 cereal?
That's the other thing we could have done.
You think of that?
But I think it's a really tough needle to thread, though, right? Because I do think, you know, people who are grinding to get into the top 750 for a shot at that, if they knew maybe they couldn't have a shot, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't go after it. And then, again, you think about like dudes like Alexo and Dang-a-Lang and anybody that's just like dropping bags. I don't know. I feel like they should have it. They should have it. D-Threat was saying with 10 shots, I went from 1 in 75 to 1 in infinity chance. So I like, again, if you, right, because you said you had 10 that made the top 750, I would have been pissed too. I would have been pissed too.
That makes sense. And then Milo does point out, he's like someone who's like in the 400s would bitch that, oh, whoever got 750 on the dot, that's more valuable.
Yeah, but dude, I love someone trying to do the math on the last day before the snapshot's taken, being like, all right, how many moments do I have to lock into? All right, listen, we're gonna talk about this for like, no, we're not even gonna talk about it. It's not gonna be a discussion. I know everyone's making pillow jokes right now. I'm not gonna dive into all of the chaos from Twitter last night. I don't think that's useful. I don't think it's worthwhile. I think it's weird when I do think the community's at fault for a lot of stuff, but I think it's weird when the company blames the community for why they're at fault. But I just don't. I think like the entirety of what last night was not sharp by anybody's. I just don't think it's useful for us breaking down people tweeting about shit. You know, I think if it was about the product more specifically, I'd be down to do it. But I just feel like that would just be a bummer. So I didn't want people to think I wasn't addressing your very hilarious pillow jokes.
Mike, can I bring up 2 other suggestions that kind of some people in the community put out?
Definitely.
Also, first, shout out John Hickey, new member.
Oh yeah, let's go Hick.
So one of them was from Leet that I saw on Twitter at Leet3_. I believe he's Rockets team captain or something.
Yeah,
and he was basically his idea is that you can only get one of those top 3 for your favorite team. So essentially, we wouldn't have Alxo and Ding-a-Ling getting, I think one of them's getting like 26, one of them's getting 28 or something. They would be getting the one that is their favorite team, assuming that they're in the top 3 for that. And then, it would open it up to some other people. So that was one I saw. And the other one I saw was from Moment Watch. I think you had him on the show recently, Mike.
Yeah.
And it was, instead of giving the top 3 collectors, like number 1 to 3, do it lottery style. So basically, like they have different odds or whatever. And then like they spin the lottery balls and like, let them do that.
Can I go ahead and throw a counter up there real quick for you, TSC?
Do it.
Tell me how the Dapper randomizer's going lately.
Separate products, right? Separate products.
You had idea.
Didn't when the legendary Top Shot one come out, All Day immediately came out and said like, we don't do the same thing with our packs. And then
UFC Strike was like, hold my beer.
UFC was like Top Shot and All Day don't use our stuff either.
La Liga is picking what day it's going to get announced by the same randomizer too.
Oh
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think like a couple of things. So this is the same, it's a similar conversation we always have. I think 2 things. If sentiment was better, both based on the market and based on their recent actions and communications, I think there'd be less frustration right now. But I do think, and that's not to say the people who are frustrated, like a Deep Threat, I think you made some really good points. That's not to say those reasons aren't valid, but I think everything is under a microscope or a magnifying glass, or whatever fucking analogy you want to use. And that like everybody's waiting for the next thing. And Top Shot is doing a really good job right now of giving us the next thing. But would you guys agree with that? I don't know.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I mean, like you said, it's not an excuse. Like, just some of the stuff seems ridiculous. But yeah,
I almost think that this one would actually go the same way, even if things were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the serial number part of it. I think that people would still be complaining and stuff like that a little bit.
Do you want
good? I mean, they're all worth nothing like in a year from now. So why does it really matter what serial you have?
But do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think that decision was made? Was that decision made a while ago, and they made the call to make it a surprise, or was that decision just made?
So are you referring to like VIP complaints and that this is?
Oh, no. I wasn't even doing a Jeb Bush tinfoil Tuesday. No. I'm not trying to make a connection. I'm just curious.
That's the $1 million question, right? And that's what we kind of always wonder with a lot of this stuff. We're like, is this super last second and they're just kind of throwing something to the wall, or was this thought out and they just didn't communicate until now? But I would argue is if they had planned on always doing this, they would have announced it when they said how top 50 get this reward, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no reason they wouldn't, because like you said, it just encourages people to spend more on the marketplace, which is what Top Shot wants.
Right. What if they did this too?
That's a fun new segment though. Planned or pivot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Planned or Pivot. Today we look at last night's tweets. You know what would have been fun too? And this is in retrospect, and I haven't thought this through at all. So feel free to be like, Mike, that idea sucks.
Greatest takes always start with that preface.
Right? What if they also, I'm just gonna share this because I can't imagine. Imagine just joining Top Shot today and Just joining Top Shot, and today was your first day in the Discord and on Twitter. Well, you would have been told to go to Reddit. But what if they did this? What if they had and again, this isn't even helpful. Like, I don't want anyone to listen to this and be like, "Oh yeah, that was brilliant." Like, it's easy to do this after the fact. What if the snapshot was taken and you were like, "Okay, congratulations, you're the top 750." No, they couldn't do it. People would be pissed anyways. But I was gonna say, and then you have 30 days to jockey for position.
Keep going.
And then, like, you
only
can't
those 750.
Right. You can't drop out of the 750, but you're jockeying and you kind of know what cereal you're going to get. And, like, if you're in the 600s, you're kind of like, fuck it. Maybe I fall to 666. Maybe I fall all the way down to 750 and print off that. But if not, then, you know, I don't know. I just throwing some ideas out.
Honestly, at first I was like, that's a terrible idea. But if you can't fall out, it's not the worst because only the top people would care, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're like in the 600s, 400s, you want to fall to 750 anyway. So why the hell would you be like trying to jockey up to 300?
Right.
So that's not
420, bro.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's a great point.
Trying to get that 690.
If all this had been announced before too, the last serial would have been fun to watch too. People trying to like just get at 750, but not fall out. But like that would have been a fun one to watch as well.
Yeah. Let's play. There's no devil's advocate. Is there any reason? Also, look at the consigliere always giving us cash. Kids born on October 5th are conceived on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. There you go. Yeah,
one or the other, not in between.
Can't happen in between. Consigliere has never had sex. That's what we just learned right now.
No, he's had him on those days. What are you talking
about? What do we?
Also, that's Weird talking about his parents right now. Weird is talking about his parents right now.
His parents boning.
His parents planned it. They didn't pivot. That
was planned.
Not pivot.
Wait, let's try to go the other way with this. What would be the benefits in your mind if you were planning this? Let's put ourselves in their shoes. What would have been the benefit to be like, hey, let's announce this after the fact as like a ta-da, here are the moments, here's how it's going down.
I think you have to answer the other question first, which is what is the benefit to doing this?
I think there is a benefit. I do think like if you dropped $1 million or whatever it is, you should have that's fine. This is called a fucking leaderboard. He's in first. They're in first. Get the best one.
That's fair. But that goes back to the whole 1 through 750 should just be given to 1 through 750.
Yeah. What about dynamic Heath with a great question. What about dynamic duos that were conceived in the last few months? What about twins? We ever talk about twins, though?
Big brain. When are we getting a holiday meld with all three of the Holiday brothers? That's the big question.
There we go. We do need a holiday meld.
Yeah.
Joey says, could have gone to Celtics top 200. Chose not to lock my top. Locked in 350. No difference. Team minimal lock. It's a good hashtag. It's a good hashtag. Doesn't get you into anything, but anyways, I don't know. Okay, so there was no good reason to do it that way.
Definitely not.
We tried. Quad was right. Is there anything else about Top Shot we need to get out there in the world?
NBA season's starting soon. Kind of excited to see what happens, and hopefully we get a lot more action and less tweets and promises.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say too on this, and I've been plugging this all week, but we are less than 2 weeks away from the full all-day. I mean, the full all-day NBA show that we're going to do on October 18th from noon till 8 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot of fun guests locked in already. We have Skeets and Trey from No Dunks. We've got Samus Foundiari from Light Years. For you Blazers fans, we've got Sean Hyken over from the Rose Garden Report, Harrison Fagan from SB Nation, Casey Kieran from AM Hoops. I have another announcement that I think another guest that I'm really excited about, but it's not confirmed yet. So, but it's pretty much confirmed that hopefully announced tomorrow. We get a fun partnership that we're excited to announce soon too. So that's going to be really great. That's October 18th. It's going to be all damn day. It's the return of the 89 Cavs as well. So get hyped for that. We're hyped for basketball. We're hyped for watching teams play bad for Victor Wembanyama, and Scoot and all those guys. But let's talk some all day. Let's talk some foosball. Week 5 playbook announced. they tweaked things a little bit. I feel like I'm talking a lot, so let me just turn it over. Did you guys dive into the playbook at all yet?
Yeah. I took a brief look at that. I think that's super interesting. The change where they bumped up the first reward pack, but you don't have to burn to get it. I think that allows people to maybe dip their toes in and give it a shot. Come back to the platform more often, just to get some yards, and then realize, oh, you know what, maybe I'll try for the next reward and then the next reward. Because I do think if you looked at the numbers, it was kind of the same like core group that were completing 100 yards every week, and I think they do want to try to have that continue to grow for sure.
No, I think so too. I think that was smart. TSC, have you looked at it at all? Any like initial thoughts from what you saw? It's okay if you haven't. I know you are teaching and sick.
I thought you were gonna make a Canadian joke. That's why I had a scowl on my face.
No.
No, I think what's awesome about it is that they kind of pivoted the having to burn in order to get a reward. Because if you think about this from like an onboarding perspective, like if I'm telling a friend that's like into the NFL, or just like maybe someone that like was in Top Shot and kind of like has checked out of that or whatever, and is into the NFL too, and be like, hey man, like this is just a zero risk, like go pick some games, which they expanded on because probably they saw that was like super popular. Oh
yeah, that was cool.
Increase the number of games, and was like, hey, look, you can literally just pick some games, log in 3 days, and you can get, it might only be one moment, but it's something that like allows you to move on. And, like So Rare is coming to the NBA. They have MLB. Part of the thing is that you can play So Rare with putting zero money in, and engage with the platform in that way. So I think that's an important like thing that they're looking into right now, is allowing people to engage with their platform without necessarily having to put money in, and hopefully drawing them in, and then they become a regular user over time. So I think that that's huge. Personally, I just like it because there's been times where like I was like, no, those challenges didn't work like for what I had and what pumped and everything. And then I was like this past week, I could have, because of the burning aspect, I was like on the fence whether I wanted to burn 5 to get 3 kind of. And then I ended up passing mainly because I just was working and forgot to burn, but also would have had a different decision to make. It's like, I'm getting 1 either way. Do I want 2 more to burn 5 or not? So I think that'll be interesting to watch kind of where they put those different, like the packs that you don't have to burn for, ones that you have to, and how they kind of move that around with yardage, and how maybe difficult they make the yardage to get.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this to me, because a lot of people were frustrated that it didn't include more rare stuff, and yet we still don't know what the challenges are, and maybe the challenges are similar, and we aren't. It's not required for a rare, and that can be a continued conversation that like we need more rares and legendaries to be used. I'm there for that. I'm there to have that conversation. I'm also going to say like, hey, listen, here's the thing. It's 5 weeks in. They've changed things week to week every time. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to continue to change, right? But
for the new pulling the levers, that's great.
And that's, I mean, that is what we've been like pretty consistent in, that kind of feedback for all of the platforms, like continue tweaking with stuff. All right, I did not want to pivot right away, but hold on, let me just see something right now, because I've seen a couple of bangs about this in the chat. And since this is all things Dapper, here we go. You know what? I'll just share the screen. We'll do it. We'll do a quick, nobody will be happier than Jeb right now, because we're going to do a quick UFC announcement. So here we go. Malik CO said, want to give an update on the situation that was brought up in the community over the past few days. They identified users pulling an abnormal amount. We all knew all of this stuff. We know the issue has had a real impact on the community, so we're providing all impacted account holders with a withdrawable Dapper credit. All accounts who purchase packs across the impacted drops below will receive this credit, calculated to 10% of the pack purchase price of all those drops. The credits will be delivered in the next 24 hours. So these packs were Starter Pack, Dojo Pack, Icons Pack, Champion Club Tap Premium, 209 Part 2, Lights Out, Tapped Premium Pack, UFC 276, Lights Out Sean O'Malley, and then UFC 274. And then out of an abundance of caution, we're purchasing pack drops for the rest of the month. Jeb, I feel like you are deeper in those streets than any of us. I don't know. What does that sound like?
How much money are you getting?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I didn't buy, so I did skip the last pack drop, but I've been max paxing on most of Strike stuff most of Strike stuff until this last pack drop. So I don't know, like I'd have to run the numbers, like the math. Like my gut reaction is that 10% doesn't seem like incredible. It doesn't seem bad either, but it definitely doesn't seem like incredible. But I would bet that they did the math and they determined that like that's basically how much was like stolen from users, and then they like doubled it or something like that. Like, yeah, and my gut reaction is to be like 10%. That's so low. What the hell? But if I'm like, I wish they would have explained why they decided on 10%.
Yeah, that would have been helpful.
Put it that way.
Yeah,
because it does seem weird that they're like, hey, we know you bought this pack, and the odds were clearly like not what they should have been because of an issue, but we're only giving you 10% of the money you spent,
right?
With no like math or explanation of why.
And especially because, and we've heard this conversation now through NBA Top Shot, through NFL All Day, now UFC Strike, where some of these are priced accordingly based on the opportunities of potentially hitting a legendary or champion moment, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're saying that was not there, maybe they've determined that 10% was, I would argue, is probably more than 10% with a lot of those, but yeah, I'm with you, man. I got 1.71 in flow. I assume it's UFC credit. There we go. A lot of people are saying they've got 171 in flow. So there you go. You spend $10 or $20. I guess I don't know how much flow is, whatever. All right. That was just like an instant reaction. Those usually aren't even helpful. So sorry to put you on the spot with that, Jeb. But let's go back to the all day thing. And yeah, I just want to say, because I saw a lot of comments still pissed off that people had to burn moments. So clearly the burning for new users is probably a tricky thing, right? If you just got here, you got a couple of moments and they're like, hey, you want to play the game? You got to burn 5 moments in order to get any of the rewards. I can understand that being like an overwhelming thing to understand. And then to be like, why would I do this? And so
but
now,
also it's not just that you have to burn them. It's that first you have to buy these to play the game.
Right.
But then also you got to burn some. You're like, wait, what?
So you're like, all right, instead of buying 10, I got to buy 15 because I got to burn 5 of those. So I don't know. I think the way that they're designing this, sure, it might not be like propping up the market in a way that would make people feel good who have been in here for a while getting rares and legendaries. But like you guys have already outlined, right? So just by logging in, all right, you get 4 yards. The daily visit gets you, now we're already up to 10 yards. You buy a moment. What's buying a moment? Is that like another 5 to 10 yards or something like that?
Yeah, it's 5 yards, I think.
5 yards. So you're at 15 yards already. And then if you don't do any of the challenges,
I don't think it's there this week, is it?
It was there. I think it's because
if you scroll down to the bottom, you might already buy.
Oh, I already burned. Wait, what did I buy? Oh, I bought a Naeem Hines because I'm a fish. Yeah, I
bought a Hines too.
Yeah, I meant to buy it like earlier in the week, and I make like notes during shows, being like, "Oh, make sure you do this," and then I don't do it. But so that's like 15 yards, and then you have what, the pregame. We've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 that you don't have to own a moment for. So that's like another 20 yards. So to be able to, that's really awesome. That's like a good user experience for a new person. I would imagine that's like a nicer way to get ingratiated in there. So I don't know. I think this is pretty sharp. I really like what they're doing. And again, yes, I do hope they find ways to incorporate rares and legendaries in a way that, not even that it's to like help people's bags. I do think, there should be some reason to collect some rares and legendaries. And right now, I don't know. Outside of collecting,
they're gonna get to that. It's week 4. Like people are like losing their minds, and it's like, dude, if they were doing the exact same thing all 4 weeks in a row, then I think that's a valid complaint. But they're clearly pulling levers, getting data points, trying to figure out a good balance, and like exploring different options. So as far as I'm concerned, like I don't think there's anything to complain about, and they're trying to incorporate legendaries and rares, and I think that'll happen more and more as they figure it out.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's still so early. Also, man, again, I'm gonna pull something up right now because shout out G Dunn, who just sent this to me, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen this right now. And hopefully, this is a newer tweet. Hold on, let me see if I can find it in a meeting. Oh, here we go. Hopefully this was a newer tweet and not like 2 hours ago. Greg, were you sending me something from 2 hours ago? I swear to God. He was. Son of a bitch. When was this even from? Hold on, let me. Oh, here it is from 6 hours ago, but still dope. Still dope.
6 hours ago.
6 hours. I didn't see this.
Oh yeah. The Mahomes tweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't seen that yet. Let's see if Greg is now texting me being like, there's a meme in here somewhere is what he said. All right. I'm not going to delve into the Disney secrets right now.
So already pulled the meme. It's like he's making this face, like laughing at the person trying to tackle him as he spins off of him. It's pretty fire.
All right. JK says, as somebody with plenty of moments, I think they need to try other things beyond burning to help out new users build and hold their collection. Right. I think that's what they're doing, right? That's what this is. That's what this new version is. So it's you don't have to, you can get a couple of free or a free moment or two without burning, right?
Yeah.
That's like, and who knows, maybe they'll like adjust based on like, oh, this was a super great activation. Imagine we made the first 2 packs available and like, then it's basically like you have to burn for any pack that you have a chance at a rare is kind of how they'll like look at it versus like, people just pulling some commons. But talking about rares and legendaries, so we've had like different uses of wild cards, and like where do you see them being the best to use so far? So like the first time we saw them was when they were rare, could be second place in it. Legendary could be top 3 or top 5 or whatever. They like kind of, it depended on the challenge, how far they went. And then the last ones, it was kind of like, you knew what the wild card was beforehand. It was like a rare from either team or a legendary from either team did it, and then a rare from the winning team. So where do you think they're clearly exploring, but where do you think that like line should kind of be?
Jeb, you got any take on that?
Go ahead. I'm still formulating.
So I had an idea that wasn't really fully fleshed out, and I think I tried to explain it earlier and it was bad, but I'll still say it again and you guys just have to fucking deal with it. I like the idea, instead of using the rare that kind of just allows everyone to get there, as the wild card, I think the wild card should be a moment that's used in the challenge. So like you almost need a second one, right? So if you want to use, say Jared Goff makes the challenge, right? You can use the rare Jared Goff. If you have 2 of them, you have to use one of them to fill the Jared Goff plug, but then you can use a second one for a wild card, like using a duplicate moment of something that's in there. I only think that works with the rares and not necessarily with the commons. And people would be like, well, then that like super bottlenecks a specific moment. And I'm like, fine. But to me, that's how the wild card should be used.
Oh, wait, you're not saying like Kelsey hits as the like tight end or whatever, and you can use a common Kelsey tight end, but then use a rare Kelsey tight end to replace something else? You're saying that if
so I was using Goff as the example
Goff,
because he doesn't have any other moments, so that's why I was using him as the example. Right, he only has the rare, so that's kind of where I was at with that. So you would use like you needed the Goff rare anyways, then you could use the second one. But yeah, that was the idea that I was thinking, where it was like it's helping the moments that are already in there.
I
like what
that.
I thought you were saying, in that like, when like a common qualifies in the challenge, the rare of that player can now replace a different part of the challenge. So then you're getting like those players that have not just rare, like it's not just like a bottleneck situation. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I have a rare of that player that allows me to go use that somewhere else. So it kind of, increases the value of those players that have multiple tiers already.
Yeah.
I just think in general, for those wild cards, they should also be game dependent, like result based. And
yes,
so when they did that, I think it was super successful. And then it also gave you some game theory of like, instead of buying this common that's propped up, I go buy this rare that hasn't pumped as much. And then that thing won't die. Like that thing won't crash afterwards as much in theoretically. But I think especially with NFL, having stuff that is results based is super important versus like after the fact we announce it and then it's like, oh, like what do I need to go buy? It should be like, what am I trying to predict?
Yeah, so. I'm totally agree with you. And that's kind of where the idea came from, where like I like the, I think it was fine when they were like, okay, you need the top 3 running backs, but if you have the 4th running back, the rare moment of that 4th running back, or legendary, like I'm with you. I like that as well. I like it.
I like it when it's tied to like the game, like TST said, like that way, like there's a rhyme and reason. So if you're paying, because the better players have a premium on them. So if you're paying that premium, you should get the higher odds of getting to use those moments because they're better players. So they're more like likely to end up in challenges type of deal.
Yeah. I saw Diamond had a great idea today during the NFL show, and I saw Dirty Pirate put something up there too. I love this idea where you start doing pick'ems, and if you're wrong, you have to burn the moment.
Yeah.
So that would also go to the pick'ems where you have to own it, right? Because now you don't have to own it to do that.
Right.
Or it could be that if you want to do that one, you have to own it. Like you have to someone
so like
can still do a pick'em without it, but they don't have any risk or whatever.
Right.
I like that. Yeah, and then you can count that moment towards your like 5.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. That was what was really cool about the first week with the pack that they had, where you could burn the pack for the second pack, and then those 3 counted. So it was kind of like a lot of people was like, do I only have to burn 2 for these packs? And that changed a lot. I also saw just like burning a rare
for yards.
Yards. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting. Or you could even go back to like that pick'em scenario where like if you put a rare up, if you put a rare up as like your pick'em and you're burning that, you get even more yards, and they could figure out that way to do it.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. Somebody joked today, I think it was Artemis during the earlier show, and he was kind of like, this is basically just gambling now. And I laughed because like I get that, but that's also acting like it wasn't already gambling. Like that's already what it is.
I'm pretty sure we've been gambling from the beginning, trying to pull number 1 cereals. Yeah.
But again, like I think there's
February 2021, you all became gamblers, right? Whether you knew it or not.
Because I was taking that idea of, you put up a Rams moment, I put up a 49ers moment because that's who I think is going to win. And if the 49er, whatever, you like you burn the loser burns. I like it going even a step further where they give us you have 2 options. It's like DK Metcalf or Amon-Ra St. Brown. Who's going to have more receiving yards this game?
So just like versus.
Yeah. And like putting that one up and I don't know. And like, maybe those are worth more yardage. Maybe it's, I don't know. Like, again, it counts as you don't have to burn anything because you got it right.
Or what if instead of burning, you pick using your moment, and then the losers' moments get distributed to the winners.
Oh, I love that.
So that needs a 1-to-1, but that does sound like a third party.
No, then you
should be doing that.
Yeah, or maybe it's not. It doesn't have to be 1-to-1 even. You just have like a percentage chance of getting that moment. So, for example, if it's like a match, like when we had the Colts versus the Chiefs, where the Colts won, if 90% bet on Chiefs and 10% bet on the Colts, those 10% would get all of the Chiefs moments distributed evenly between them.
Fucking love that.
Yeah,
that would be sick.
But the one thing I would say is that either based on how much you paid for the moment or the serial number that you put up, you should be put on a leaderboard, and therefore it gives you better odds or worse odds.
What if two? Here's the other thing I'll throw out.
My favorite part of that was watching Jeb catch it before Mike, and I'm just scared to see how long it would take Mike to understand what I was saying.
I know here's a peek behind the curtain. I'm tired today, and I was already formulating my next take, and so I was like 80% listening, but 20% getting ready. And now I forgot what it was. Oh, this is what I was going to say. What if in order to participate in these, you have to burn a rare just to do it? So like, I know.
So
I was
you
thinking,
get to pick all of them, but you burn a rare, and that gives you access to all the picks. Is what you're
right.
saying.
It's like super premium in order to do some of that stuff. This is me just trying to circle jerk the rare bags out there.
Yeah. I'm sure people in the chat appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do think
it's completed 100 yards the past couple weeks, so they're sitting on a lot of rares.
I do think at some point they do have to obviously burn some rares. But maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I appreciate that it seems they're toying with things separately and getting like really good data points.
Yes.
Where they're not like changing everything and then being like, all right, we changed every variable, but we're going to consider this data point as like legit data point. So I think burning rares comes in like 2-3 weeks from now, and it'll happen. But
that's what I was saying today, and then I almost had to like step back, and I'm like, am I just giving them too much credit because the market's up? And then I looked at the market, and it's not up. I'm giving them credit based on their decisions that they've made so far.
Yeah.
And so look at me not fudding for clicks. I think that like I would like to think that they had this like 8-week or 4-week or 6, whatever it is, plan of like, this is how we're going to roll things out. This is how we're going to tweak things as we go. We'll get all this information and then we'll start making some more moves. So I'm still down to give them some more wiggle room.
I would say it just seems like they do have a plan. Like the fact that the NFL is tweeting them, you have players tweeting, they're not firing all their ammo at once. Like when Top Shot, I hate to bring Top Shot into this, but when they did the KD thing, huge deal. They fired everything. They're like commercial, KD buying moments, like everything instantly. NFL All Day will randomly just on a Tuesday be like, oh, here's CeeDee Lamb buying moments.
Yeah.
And then randomly another time, oh, Nick Chubb tweeted about All Day. Like it just seems very organic. It seems very planned out. It seems like the players kind of understand what they're talking about. They're not just tweeting a script, but they're actually like, oh, maybe I don't know the most about this, but I'm actually genuinely interested in this and want to own a couple moments and participate.
Maybe they're just better actors. Maybe that's the difference.
Well,
like,
what I was going to say
is that's true. NFL players are known as top tier actors.
I don't buy that it's organic personally. I just think that it's
I buy that it's semi-organic.
Yes, but I think it's just being rolled out a lot better and
but that was my point. It's planned out. It seems to have like a real roadmap here.
All the rookies putting out a generic tweet.
No,
the exact same.
We actually I don't even remember now if it was private or public, in the sense that I don't remember if it was on stream or in a DM. But I had asked AJ about that.
You did it on stream.
I did. Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe she was being generous with the 50-50, but I feel like you can see it when it's like the Alec Ingold, the fullback for the Dolphins, I think. Like he was going wild. Like Cleveland Browns were just being like, yo.
Cade York when he got his moment.
So you can definitely see it when it happens versus they're in a black t-shirt with a black backdrop that has All Day. That's like, yeah, dude, I'm actually sick at football and I'm excited for you to buy my NFT. Like you can tell the difference. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just having fun with it. I think that's the thing that I'm going to keep hammering right now, that I'm still having a nice time. And that's part of it. And again, I think it's easier for them to do that because games are happening right now with Top Shot. That's not the case. And maybe in a couple of weeks we'll feel differently. But
yeah, dude, I love so much that you don't have to complete every little thing to get 100 yards.
Dude, I didn't think I was getting 100 yards this week. And I, you know what? I was so proud of myself because I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. Like, I'm just going to go get 60 or 80 yards or whatever it was. But turns out I suck at math and I did get 100 yards. I didn't know it because I already had that stuff. But like, I'm totally.
So you didn't buy anything, you got 100 yards? Or
I ended up
something got 100.
I bought a Debo.
Yeah, I had to buy a Stafford, but I had an extra Debo and basically just flipped it for each other.
Yeah. I just think it's so. I think when we were doing the metallic silver Phantom Edition challenges, because like we really didn't know what the set was going to be or anything like that, and it started off with such a bang with the Curry moment. We were all like there's just this massive FOMO and like pressure to complete it. And as a result, I think you saw people just like losing their minds when like a bottleneck hit that was out of like was like random to a certain degree. But I think with this, it's just so much less like stressful, and it's not like you don't lose everything.
Right.
Like you're like, oh, you know what? I lost 15 yards. Maybe I can't get 100 yards, but hey, I can still get 80 or 60, and I can still get some new moments. I think it just is like I'm not up late at night crunching numbers trying to like figure out future bottlenecks or anything like that. I'm just like, let me make sure I have good players, and if I see something my brain is like starts speculating, I'll make a small stack of this. But I'm not like desperately trying to like jump ahead and like map out like games. And I think that's like a very sustainable way where users won't get burnt out.
Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, like you already started seeing some banter this week. I think this was the first week where I saw people being like, dude, market's down again, dude. So we'll see. But it does seem like we're having a little bit more fun. Also, I was just getting hit with some DMs and I saw a tweet from Shams and we can like start to wrap here. Apparently Draymond beat up Jordan Poole today.
Yes, people, I think PPE and other people were saying that in the chat before the game started. Well, I mean, I guess that answers the question: are they going to sign him to a max contract?
Which
right?
one though? Which one? Jordan Poole?
Yeah, I was going to say Draymond.
Draymond. No,
Draymond did.
Draymond.
It's whoever won that fist fight. That's what it was for.
They were
one of the max contracts.
Honestly,
Draymond's on his way out.
I don't condone violence, but if I had to pick anyone to get their ass kicked, it is Jordan Poole.
I was going to go the other way. If I was going to pick anyone to get their ass kicked, Draymond Green would be number one. Jordan Poole would probably be number two. Though.
Yeah, we need that scene from Rocky where they both hit each other at the same time for like a total TKO. I think that's what we need right now. Yeah, people are saying, wait, what? No, Shams just tweeted it. Let me see if I have it up here. I'll pull it up. Let me just see if I can. I thought I had a Shams tweet up here.
Airplane mode saying check your wallets. I'm assuming that has to do with the UFC strike stuff.
Yeah, I think it's.
I'm gonna check mine real quick.
All right, yeah, here we go. When a chest-to-chest interaction with guard Jordan Poole escalated, Green forcefully struck Poole and both needed to be separated swiftly. Who do you think told him that it was a swiftly separation? Like, he just add that on his own?
That sounds like no one threw a punch.
No, I think he said he got struck.
Draymond threw a punch. Or, like, did he slap him? That'd be kind of whack. That'd be weak. I bet you Draymond punched him. Draymond's the type to not, like, he's not like, holding back.
Oh, I got something else I need to bring up.
Go ahead. You need me to share your screen?
Yeah. Oh, baby.
What we got here? Oh,
125, 119 overtime. Look at that fourth quarter, 38-20.
Yeah, but
18-point comeback to force overtime.
What place am I in? Oh, I'm in 9th. Actually, Jeb Bush, you're in 7th in Super Draft right now.
Yeah. Oh wow, you're 9th too.
Yeah, we're right next to each other. Tatum did Tatum foul out? How the fuck you go to overtime and only get 31 points?
No, he's talking about the real world.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
I was like, wait, what? Is Super Draft doing preseason now?
Well, they are soon. Man, I don't give a shit about preseason. But TST, I talked about your Raptors today. I took the over.
Of course, they've hit the over like 8 of the last 10 years because no one gives any respect to Canada. I'm telling you, it's the like most locked. Like, and one of those years was when they had all those injuries and tanked for Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, it's true. I know. I'm big on. I said they're going to get home court advantage in the first round.
I have them.
California needs to legalize betting already, so I can bet on these unders for teams tanking. Yeah, like I'll bet on Toronto over, but dude, after that Victor and Scooter game, like holy cow, like people are going to be the Utah Jazz are going to like roll out no one on the court. They're just going to straight up start forfeiting games.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly. It is really going to be ugly. Wait, you just sold the
true?
for $1,200 in deep threat?
Play the drop.
What fucking Seussibles do you own?
Is that the highest sale ever?
Oh yeah, the big ticket drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the big ticket drop. Let's go. $1,200, dude. $1,200. Are you kidding me? Oh, it was the number one pin. There you go.
What leaderboard did you have to climb to get that?
Yeah, I know. You should have stayed on it, dude. I think they're gonna reward pins based on how many Seuss's you own. God, that website sucks so bad. It is such a slog. It's the big. Listen, I've made a bunch of dumb decisions in this space, but Seussibles is by far the worst.
You were in Seussibles?
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't roll out the Android app and only the Apple app, because I would have jumped on. They rolled out. They didn't give it to Android. I just never looked back.
Oh man, I was dissecting something in real time. So Rad Dad tweeted out something, and then Clee Gaines took his screenshot. And the only reason I'm sharing it is because Rad Dad tweeted this out at MBL, being like, because Dingling was like, at the time of buying, there was no promised utility, and I was just collecting, so all these additional perks are great to see. And then Clee Gaines uses the same screenshot, and he goes, "Stole my take and my screenshot." Shout out Rad Dad and Clee Gaines. Shout them both out.
And shout out T-Man Balls watching on Twitch.
That's what I was about to say.
Let's go, dude. And he is the only one. I just checked.
There's always only one, because sometimes I do it when I tune into Team Hold on my phone.
Really quick,
so I can do other stuff at the same time.
Speaking of balls, Regulator pointed out, he said that Draymond probably punched him in the balls. Yeah, Draymond definitely hit him. Definitely like punched him. There's no way. Draymond's like such a dirty player who, to his credit, he's not scared. He's not all talk. Like, he's willing to take a swing.
No, he's new media though. He's hashtag new media. All right. Hey, we get 78 entrants. Last call. So you're gonna like the stream. You need to subscribe to Team Hold. You got to put hashtag tank, and then we'll rip this, and then shoot me a DM if you win it. TST, you have anything coming up this week? You need to plug a Rooski?
No, it's Canadian Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna be on a little vacation for that, but I'll come back next week. I am working on my little NBA preview. I'm gonna put out my standings in a little special way. So,
what a special way!
Leaderboards,
like art. What are you doing?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna do some macaroni.
Partnering up with the third grade art teacher.
Yeah, man. Got it cross curricular, you know.
Yeah.
Also, love that Anthony Davis is already out with low back tightness.
No, is that real?
Now,
come on.
It is hilarious that man was put on the top 75 list.
And it's gonna look so bad. Look so bad.
It looked bad when they released it. They were like, I was just like, what is this? What is happening?
Terrible.
He wins one ring and people are just like, yeah, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, we're gonna live with that forever. Great question here by Kunk City. Do you guys eat turkey?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Turkey.
Well, it's not the same thing, dude. Is it turkey poutine?
No.
All right, that's a bummer. Jeff, you cooking up anything? What's going on over there? I know you just had a great video series with your dad and Austin come out recently. Anything else in the works?
Yeah, I'm scheduled to interview Semi the Jedi, UFC fighter, on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really, really excited about that. And that should hopefully, fingers crossed, come out this weekend. It depends how fast I can edit it, how long it goes, all that. But yeah, I'm super, super excited to get that started and hopefully just start to interview more athletes in general.
I love that. That's exciting.
You want a little tip to speed up the editing process?
Yeah.
Don't make any mistakes.
Oh my God.
Big brain. Thank you, TST.
He's gonna send you an apology after that. He's gonna too mean.
I'm just gonna get on the video with Semi the Jedi and be like, all right, no mistakes here. I do not want to edit.
I'm counting on you, man.
Wait, is Patrick McGee? I saw this thing with Patrick McGee recently. Is he really upset with me? Or no, I think
McGee.
Oh, he did. Wait, so Patrick McGee is someone who is just a troll, and I think he went at the First Mint, and then the First Mint asked if I was him, and I said I'm Patrick Punch, not McGee. Oh. And he said, "You fucked us over because of your own negligence. Expect us to be your puppets, huh?" I got this dude. I love it. This is some excellent. This is Fenny. It's Fenny for sure. It's definitely Fenny. But I will say
this is another helpful tip, by the way, Heath. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, just look good, chest to chest. But for last call for #Tank, like the stream and subscribe. We tomorrow we just have the NBA morning show. I feel like I had something planned. I don't remember what it is now. And then Friday's going to be another busy day. We have the morning show. Big Ticket and Jay Light are coming on for the football show at noon. And then the happy hour will be back at 3 p.m. And then Sunday with Mr. John Boy Skeets, he'll be returning. We'll be giving away another premium pack, doing some Sunday slate preparation for the NFL day. So a lot of fun stuff coming at you. I can't stress enough how excited I am for the full day NBA tip-off show. I'm really fingers crossed, hoping we're going to have an announcement for Friday, but it might be Monday. But either way, I promise to over promise and under deliver.
Yeah. As someone who's heard about it behind the scenes a bit, I'm getting so excited. So it's going to be a treat for everyone.
I'm looking. I think if you like basketball, it's going to be a lot of fun. And this is the first time I've worked hard on something in a while. So, and truly my DMs are so embarrassing. It's just me DMing a bunch of people with verified check marks. And it's a bunch of Nick Young just throwing the 3 up and then walking away. And it's mostly L's, but every once in a while we get a W. I'm excited to announce. Yeah. When team hold roadmap, God, once we shore up the infrastructure. But guys, it's hard. It's hard right now.
It's a tech problem.
We're releasing it on Reddit, which honestly, once some time passes and people aren't, and it's not too crazy in the Twitter streets, I will make fun of that aggressively, but I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. All right, here we go. Let's spin this bad boy. 91 entrants. The other 30 of you lot, screw off. Here we go. If you win this thing, shoot me a DM.
Couldn't figure out how to hit that subscribe button so that they can put Tank.
That's true. They got to hit the subscribe. It's the only way they can chat, bitch. Right now. The big W. Right now. Shoot me a DM.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. I still have the outro up here? I think I got rid of it. So you're going to get the intro. God damn it. Did we delete it? We deleted it. Too many vids, baby.
I feel like this happened last time.
Whatever. We get to see the tweets again. For TST, for Jeb, make sure you're subscribing to both of them. Thanks for being here tonight. We are out.